So, hello and welcome to everyone who's watching this on our Facebook page. So, this is ESGM Webinar. Today, we are talking about food and nutrition. We understand that with COVID-19, there's been a lot of lockdowns and a lot of people are not able to, go to work so that they can afford the right food that they need to keep their bodies healthy, to keep their nutrition up, especially for a country where we understand that there is a high prevalence of HIV and AIDS. This is very, very difficult for people to make sure that their immune systems are up and about. But today we are joined by Miss Lindy, who is going to talk us through keeping a healthy diet and keeping your nutritional life very high. So welcome to the webinar.
Hi guys, welcome to the webinar. Thank you so much. It's great to have this opportunity to share together issues of healthy eating during COVID-19 and beyond.
Yes, thank you. So the first thing that we need to ask ourselves is, we have, as an organization, we are at the moment going around the country trying to distribute small parcels of food for our LGBT family. The first question that everyone has is, what sort of food can I afford and what sort of food should I be eating at a time when my stress levels are very high and I can't even have the money because I don't have the job to buy the food that is perhaps needed for such a time?
Okay, thank you. That's a good question. Right, it depends on what you have available. It's extremely important to follow a healthy diet. A healthy diet is what many people would ask, what is it? So I'll just go through a healthy diet quickly. Basically, our healthy diet needs to compose of all the food groups we have. So this idea of 3 food groups, those being energy giving foods, protein giving foods, and vitamin and mineral giving foods, is kind of outdated. So now basically we speak about the types of foods which are in the 3 food groups. So speaking about healthy eating, we must have one from each group. Like, for example, foods which give energy or which provide carbohydrates. They come from many sources. We have foods which are provided by, we have carbohydrate sources which are from cereals. Cereals include mealie meal, our rice, whatever, brown rice or white rice, whatever the flavor or the type of rice. Rice is just rice in terms of nutritional value. Then we have our potatoes, things like sweet potatoes, which are in season right now. And I have been walking around the ladies who are selling, the food around the market, even at some of the local shops. The sweet potatoes are not so very expensive because they are in season. Even our Irish potatoes, the potatoes we're used to, the ones we add salt to, are compose carbohydrate foods. So it's very important that as we eat during COVID-19, you get a carbohydrate source from any of the foods I've just mentioned above. And then things which are not good for us, which are also carbohydrate foods, will include our biscuits, our desserts, your pies, which are extremely expensive. And they are our burgers, the rolls that the burgers are made from. So these fast foods are actually very expensive and they don't do much for our health because they are made from refined carbohydrates. That is why they are white, Yet our bodies need, you know, uh, wholesome, original, undiluted, unprocessed carbohydrates. So I've mentioned the carbos. And then how do we eat the carbo? We eat it 3 times a day. You can have, say for example, you've got your ngwangwa or your soft porridge or your oats for breakfast. Then you have for lunch your rice and stew, say for example, or you have a sandwich, your bread with something, and then for supper you have again your cereal and something, and then in between you can snack from your sweet potatoes, your Irish potatoes, and other other foods which I'm about to mention next. Then the next a component of food which contributes to a healthy diet are the foods which we use as a stew or isishibo, you know, shibo for us, umshibo. These include our meat, and our meat has to have a variety as well. It's not good to eat one thing day in, day out, but rather let us have a variety. So examples of good and reasonably priced protein can include chicken, you know, chicken in any form. And if we want to maintain our healthy diet, especially if you have maybe blood pressure, or you have, say, heart disease, you have diabetes, or you are overweight, remove the skins from the chicken before you cook the chicken. So the chicken can be cooked as a stew. It can be stewed just in its own juices, adding a bit of spice, a bit of garlic there, you know, and stewing it over small heat. If you want some gravy to come off it, you can grill your chicken, you can fry your chicken. There's nothing wrong with that. But there are there are meat products which are a bit high in fat, like the skins or the fat coming off red meat. So when we eat red meat, we must try to remove the fat before we cook that meal, or unless you're going to grill it like you do it a braai style, in which case all the fat falls off. It's not coming into our system. Another type of protein could be pork, you know, which is also a good source of protein. We don't have to eat it every day. It can just be part of what we have in the fridge. We can even use products of chicken like eggs. We can do chicken livers. We can do chicken feet. I don't know whether some people even eat the chicken head. We can do the insides, you know, the chicken, the beef insides, but make sure that you've removed all the fat from the meat before you eat that meat. You know, especially most people in Swaziland enjoy the meat from the head, the meat from the tail of the ox. We can still enjoy our fish. Fish is just fish. It can be the fresh fish. It can be the fish from a tin. All that you have to be careful of is the tin. You must check the expiry dates. You must also check if the tin doesn't have any, you know, like any dents on it, because if it's dented or it has expired, it may be poisonous for you. So even tinned food is okay, as long as it has not expired and it is not dented. And then we also have meat products or protein sources which are from plants. These include beans, chickpeas, lentils, you know, jugo beans, all types of beans. It includes peanuts, you know. It includes all the protein sources from like soya as well. Soya beans are also good, soya chunks. So all those are sources of protein. And it's important to have at least 2 portions of protein in your food daily. Say, for example, you have lunch, maybe it's filled with a bit of cheese and tomato, your sandwich, or you have, with your supper, you have your rice and stew, or your pap and stew, you know, whatever, or you have your green leafy vegetables with peanuts, peanut butter, or ground peanuts, umbitvo or umfino, whatever you'd like to call it. And then we have another type of food which actually protects our bodies and keeps our skin, you know, well toned and beautiful looking. This comes from that group of foods which we call micronutrients. These micronutrients compose of fresh fruit and vegetables. And then the darker the color of the fruit and vegetable, the better that food is for you. And what we always say as nutritionists and dietitians is that try eat your fruit and your vegetables in as raw a form as you possibly can. Meaning, let's try eat our salads more. But you know what, you guys? We usually spoil our food by adding all these sauces like the mayo, the mustards, you know, the excess oil, you know. So these things then dilute our vegetables and make them to be oily instead of like good micronutrient sources. So in terms of a healthy diet, this is what we are talking about. And don't forget to take plenty of water, or you can even use your squashes. Soft drink in excess consumption is dangerous because it will push you into obesity and overweight, which will make you at risk for having diabetes, high blood pressure, heart disease, and so on and so forth. All those things we don't want. So guys, it's important to note that fresh is better, but even canned, even frozen is as good as fresh in terms of the protein. And then with our veggies, let's try eat them as fresh as possible. And when you have plenty, like say, of course, spinach, if you've got plenty of cabbage, plenty of butternuts, plenty of beetroot, we can store that food. All you do, you just chop it up into small pieces, you freeze it, and then when you cook it, you just take it straight from the freezer into the pan, minimum water, minimum cooking time, and voila, there comes up your fresh veggie. And let's try it as much salad as possible. And when we snack, guys, let's try not snack on salt laden things like chips, the chips we buy from the shops, which are already made, are like our knickknacks, our what. Those are not healthy snacks. Why? Because they contain a dangerous type of fat called trans fatty acids. Those fatty acids are the things which make food nice. They are found in biscuits, they are found in salty snacks like chips, they are found in ice cream, in desserts. So they are very bad for us. And I see a lot of our people now eating yogurt, which is written double cream. This yogurt may be nice just once in a blue moon, but don't make it a habit that every time you go into the spa or Pick and Pay or whatever, you are grabbing that double yogurt. It's extremely fatty. It's going to kill you by, making your heart stop because it's got a lot of fat. And during this COVID-19, we don't want to make our organs to be laden with unhealthy things, because we know that the COVID already is killing our immune system, making it difficult to breathe. So imagine if you're also breathless from eating too much fat. That cannot be good for us. I would like to pause just here to hear other people's comments and other people's views as well. Thank you, Melusi.
Thank you very much, Lindy. I think it's very good that you are talking about the sort of foods that we can grow from home. I mean, when you are talking about the vegetable steep vegetable, these are stuff that you can grow on your background. You're talking about potatoes,
Yes.
we're talking about umbila. We know as Swazis, we grow these things in our homes. And I mean, yes, it has become hard now with COVID-19 to access these things, but so many of us still live on arable land. So many of us bayakhona kulima so that we can get food that we can eat. Unfortunately, we couldn't be joined by the coach that was supposed to be talking to us about keeping healthy. So perhaps you can tell us, because I heard you speak about eating all of this starch that is giving us energy. How then do I excrete this energy out of my body if the police are going to stop me from walking past my neighborhood, perhaps while I'm trying to jog? How do I excrete this energy just to make sure that my body is not only fed right, but it's keeping healthy and fit?
Thank you so much, Melusi. I live in town as well, and actually I exercise, and no one has ever stopped me, because you cannot wear a mask while you exercise, because when you exercise, your lungs need to have maximum capacity to breathe in and to breathe out air. I don't know what's way this is happening, but as far as I know, and from what I've seen, I've not seen any enforcement officer stopping us. You can just run around your block, and you don't have to run. You can even just walking briskly. And the secret with exercise, like to know whether you've exercised enough, you will see this by sweat coming out. And when you're wearing a t-shirt, you'll see it sticking to your back, sticking to your chest. That is an indication that you have exercised enough. And usually this will happen after 30 to 45 minutes of like hard, brisk walking. You understand? And there's also a lot of exercise you can do within the confines of your home. Like, for example, you can do sit-ups, you can do press-ups, you can do on the spot jogging, you can do stretches, on your balcony, like by your on your bed as well, you know. And these you can just download straight from your phone. And with we've got MTN and Swazi Mobile are giving us loads of data right now for free. Thank you. So we can have access to the internet more than we did when we had to buy everything cash. So not exercising is an excuse, guys. You can even walk on your, inside the house corridor many times, like in between the rooms. You can just walk up and down the steps to your flats, but there is no excuse for not exercising. And as I said earlier, you know, I haven't seen anyone stopping us. And then the important thing, guys, is that when you exercise, you are actually, your body is using up the food at a faster rate. You are building up your metabolism, which is great. And before you embark on an exercise, you need to consume carbohydrates. Like, say, for example, say an hour before you do your walking, you can have, you know, sipulucha sembila or 1 milli boiled milli carb. You know, if you don't have access to milli carb, you can have a cup of sweet corn, which has nothing added, which has got no butter and sugar added to it. Or you can have 2 sweet potatoes. This will build you up to take up the energy, to be able to do the energy without experiencing cramps or anything like that. You know, so exercise is very important in order to work off the excess energy we may have accumulated through sitting and relaxing during this COVID-19, guys. And like Melusi said earlier, we are encouraging you to grow your crops like you do grow your indoor plants. So you can easily do the same with spinach, with lettuce, you know. I've been growing, I'm sorry, I've used up all mine by yesterday. I would have shown you, I've grown a little row of spinach using, you know, a tray. So I grew my little spinach. I had 2 rows of spinach, 2 rows of green pepper, some lettuce and so forth. So you can still grow these vegetables outdoors. You can even do the gardening on top of your roof, guys. Did you know that? That's a good place because the chickens won't come there. There are no thieves on top of your roof and so on. So thanks, Melusi.
That sounds fun, that you can actually grow stuff on top of your roof. I mean, some of us
Yes.
as our roofing, so perhaps that's not a good idea to do that.
Yes.
So another question that I have, perhaps
Yes.
my last one for now, is we are in winter, as you know. It is a bit cold for us who are skinny, with, you know, our very skinny bodies. So I heard you say that we shouldn't be buying double cream yogurt. We shouldn't be having all of these mayos in our food. But those sort of fats, don't they keep us warm, especially in winter?
Thanks, Melusi. Okay, Melusi, you know what? You'd be so surprised. Anything you eat, you can take anything you eat will actually keep you warm, because all the foods give us energy, my dear. You know, I think it's just something we've grown to know. Like, for example, it's so nice to think of fat cakes in the evening, sitting on the couch, you know, but like they're going to put on those extra hips and extra tummy layers, hey. But you don't need the mayo and the oil. This will actually clog your arteries, Melusi. In another time, given another forum, we will discuss the dangers of fat and what it does to your body. And I'll actually show you graphics of what is happening to your body. So I still reiterate, I'm not saying don't eat mayo, ice cream, don't eat fat cakes on your couch with loads of Milo in the evening, but rather cut down. Don't have it all the time. You can have it some of the time, but not all the time, because the damage is happening internally. It's not visible to the body. And you guys, we want to see you around, Melus. I want to see you, you know, even when I'm 84. Hopefully I'll get to 84. And I'd love to see you when you are older than you are now. So we really want to live longer. And the only sure way of doing it is to eat in a healthy manner, you know, in a healthy way. We will even discuss how you can make some of these things without using the fats. Like, you can still get a mayo type of dressing by using, say, natural yogurt. You know, you just take natural yogurt and you add herbs to it. You spice it up nicely. When you eat, you'll be shocked. It almost tastes like mayo. Is that our eyes also govern our taste, because, you know, you get hungry by looking first of all, rather than by even and then when you eat, you'll find the food is really nice. And you know, fresh food, you know, these fast foods are addictive, and even all these sauces and stuff are addictive. But once you start cutting down, you'll be surprised. Like, you know, I can't even eat a Russian today. Yet I used to love Russian and chips and Vienna and chips. But because I told myself I'm not going to eat any more of this fatty food, I actually can't let it go down. It just makes me feel nauseous once I've eaten it. So you try it, you'll see it will work for you. But guys, like I said, you don't have to cut out. I'm just saying reduce. Try cut down the number of times you're eating, say, a salad filled with mayo. Try vinegar, try salad dressings, try yogurt and other salad dressings as well. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Indiwe. So as an organization, we are at the moment going around the country, just trying to give out these small food parcels that we have. On our package, I must announce that we have a small bag of rice, we have a small bag, 5 kg of impuphu mealie meal, we have a small bag of beans, we have a small bag of sugar and tea, we have a small bag of inala, and we have a small bag of soup. Perhaps you can advise us. I mean, there's other things on the package like your toothpaste, your roll-on, and a small bar soap, and then Vaseline, so that we can all, you know, keep out of any ashy skin. But I just would like for you to advise us with these small packages that we are continuing to donate to our people. And we're also asking for anyone who has any help to give to us so that we can continue giving to our LGBTI brothers and sisters and others. What sort of nice meal can I make on Sunday with these packages that we are delivering? And also there's a small bottle of oil there. I was afraid of saying oil because you have said no more oil. But what sort of nice...
No, it's allowed.
So what sort of nice treat can our people make with these small parcels that we are delivering? Today, they have gone up to Nzingeni and Sumpe. I don't even know the places Aboho that they are going to deliver to some of our members. What sort of nice stew or any meal can they make that is healthy and that is going to make them happy?
Thank you so much, Melusi. Firstly, I'd just like to commend you guys for the very good interventions you're bringing in, for being so creative and being so giving. We really appreciate it. And I'm so happy to have heard. And I, as a person, would also love to contribute to your NGO, but not with food because I'm also involved in another, but rather with just us sourcing funds and ideas on how to, you know, to bring more income into the organizations. I really commend you extremely for doing this. It's extremely good, you know, and I hope everybody in the team will actually have that heart and even just to donate, even if it's money, when everything is over, just to make sure that this goes on. Because in any community, there are always those who are unable to work, those who are ill, those who have other, you know, challenges that make them not be able to earn money. So I think it's extremely commendable and very good. God will bless you multiple times. Thank you, Melusi. Then, in terms of the stew, beans are everybody's favorite. I love beans. I could eat them 3 times a week. So we could prepare, say, for example, a nice bean stew. For example, you just like, you know, you soak your beans overnight to actually cut down on the cooking time. Then I always say it's good to soak beans and throw out the water because the water contains a lot of uric acid, which actually sits on your joints and causes scouts and arthritis later on in life. So beans, you cook your beans, they don't have to become mashed up. Then what I usually do as well, I then to the beans add rice, the rice you've given out. When the beans are soft with almost 5-10 minutes left, to that water I add the rice, and then the beans will come out brown and with the rice in them. And then you can on the side fry some onion, tomato, whatever, put some of the nala soup in that, and then just pour that into the beans, spice it up, pour it into the beans, you know, and that will come out like a 1-pot stew, which is quite nice for a Sunday. So that's one meal. Or else you can even do another meal where you do bean fritters. You cook your beans until they are well cooked in such a way that you can mash them. Then you throw out all the excess water. Then you mash your beans using a potato masher. We don't want a food processor because it will make them to be very fine. We want a bit of chunkiness in them. Once that has been done, you chop in some onion, you crush some garlic, you put in some paprika, a bit of turmeric, a bit of chicken spice, a bit of curry. Because I love hot food, I even chop in some chili into that mixture. I make little balls. You need to dip your hands in flour and make little balls. From that, you flatten them out and you fry them in hot oil. And they're very delicious as a snack, as you're sitting and watching TV, and very filling as well. Try it, Melusi, today. When you've forgotten the recipe, just call me.
Yeah.
I will walk you through it in the house. It's very
Definitely.
nice.
Definitely, I'm going to try it. Thank you so much for that wonderful insight on how we can make a very beautiful and healthy meal for our LGBT community. We understand that it's not just the LGBT
Yes.
community, but everyone is in the same situation. And we are going to continue to do everything that we can to make sure that we give to those who need. And of course, I understand that the National Disaster Management Agency is continuing to give, and many other organizations and agencies are continuing to give. So thank you so much for your time, and thank you for giving us the wonderful
You're
insight.
welcome, my darling.
Thank you. Bye.
Yes. Please invite me over to a meeting one day, and please, I'd love to see you guys more so I can input and help you guys with so much more. It's
Absolutely.
been lovely. I feel honored to have been part of this webinar. Thank you so much, Melusi. Keep up the good work, my dear.
All right. Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye, Melusi. Bye.
That was Lindy was speaking to us about the importance of eating healthy and the importance of making sure that everything that we do is good for our body. Everything rather that we put into our body is good for our body. So perhaps as a final shot from us is to continue to call out to maybe the LGBT community themselves, maybe our allies, maybe the movable middle in Eswatini, to please continue supporting us in our plight to make sure that we are feeding the LGBT community. We understand that because of the COVID-19 responses, so many of us have had to forgo some of our freedoms. So many of us have had to lose jobs. So many of us have had to be forced to stay at home and just not have anything to do that will bring in money so that we can buy food, so that we can buy the toiletries, so that we can buy those vegetables to eat. But as an LGBT community, I must emphasize that we have been hit more hard because this situation has been compounded. As an LGBT community, we have not been able before to compete freely and equally in the economies of the country. So this is a moment where we as an LGBT community must come together and make sure that we are also counted in everything that is being done. That is why we are doing what we're doing, trying to make these food parcels to donate to our LGBT people. Whoever is out there who can help us, please don't be afraid to call the number 79065354 or the rest of the number that will be on your screen right now so that you can support us as we are continuing to give out to the LGBT community. It is International Pride Month after all, so this is a time for us as an LGBT community to come together and give to those who are more in need. Thank you so much for watching today's webinar. I look forward to next week's webinar. Thank you and bye-bye.